Welcome back. Now, the dire state of roads and general infrastructure in rural KwaZulu-Natal stifle food security and economic growth. That's according to the KZN Agricultural Union. To tell us more about this, the union CEO Sandy La Marque joins us now. Thank you very much for your time here on All Angles. Just firstly, this obviously is a conclusion that you drew from a member survey that you conducted during the month of March. Exactly how did you come to the conclusion that it's road infrastructure that hinders on food supply?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. We've obviously had a number of reports from agricultural producers across KwaZulu-Natal that they are having difficulties delivering their produce to market, to the distribution points. And so we undertook a survey across all the districts in KZN, gathering information from emerging small commercial farmers and rural landowners to understand what the situation is in KwaZulu-Natal.
I see that in your survey you also found that 56% or so of the respondents said that some road repairs did happen in the last year, but almost 80% said even those road repairs were shoddy workmanship, right? So this speaks directly to service delivery.
Absolutely, and I think that's again the reason why we've looked at this matter so carefully, because it's not only service delivery that one is seeing having an effect in those rural areas, but the actual condition of the roads, for example, are life-threatening, and it prevents the movement of goods and services in rural areas. It impacts on the economy locally. It increases the cost of doing business, prevents employment opportunities, and obviously it impedes the safe passage of goods and services at the end of the day. And when something is affecting our industry to this extent, where we are unable to possibly deliver a product to the market, it's something that we need to be proactive and address and see how we can actually influence the situation.
It's amazing how infrastructure, especially particularly with roads, it's amazing how it trickles down to affecting so many other things. I'm just wondering if at all during your survey, did any of the members express any sentiments about who they blame for this?
So it's quite interesting. Obviously, we have conducted this research. It's not the first time we've conducted research, but during a survey that we undertook around protest delivery or protest action, what became very clear is that often it's political interference that is taking place in a local area that is influencing or impacting on services not being delivered. The inefficiency of municipalities to some extent, the inefficiency of government departments. So, there's a number of concerns that we've seen come through from the survey that we've conducted with people on the ground, and something that we need to obviously look at and work out in a proactive way. And that's where one starts to talk about solutions and how we can rather work together and have a community-based approach to dealing with infrastructure or service delivery challenges that we're facing in the province. And, we've been there, we've had some kinds of processes, forums that have worked in the past, and perhaps it's time that we bring those back again and work together rather than in silos. That is more often than not what we've seen taking place so far.
All right, so they're blaming it on political interference, but not necessarily on government. But of course, the KZN MEC of Transport and Roads Infrastructure definitely needs to do something then to help those living in rural areas.
Absolutely, and I think that's precisely where we're sitting today, is to say, what is it that can be done and how do we do it collectively? There is a responsibility for government to actually look after our infrastructure, to ensure that food and services are able to pass through and from rural communities. And absolutely, that responsibility lies directly with our government, with our MEC, and we are waiting to meet with her and her team to discuss how we can actually address the rural infrastructure in KZN.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I really do hope that webinar that I believe you'll be having sometime later this month will assist, and I hope government is open to receiving some of your recommendations. Thank you very much for your time here on All Angles. That is, of course, Sandy La Marque from the KwaZulu-Natal Agricultural Union.